Hello, and welcome to Direwolf20's Modpack. I'm Karoi, and I'm playing on a server with a few people that I know. Although we've only just begun today, we've managed to get some basic stuff set up, and we've decided to play on hard mode. So, food comes at quite the necessary thing during this play. Luckily, there's quite a few good ways to set up food in this mod pack, but we've hardly begun with that first. Well, yet. So, of course, we've got casual wheat farm. I better harvest that soon. You've got the flax farm, which is a plant that gives string, which is actually pretty useful in this mod pack. You've got our carrot farm, which is still producing, and this is going to be a farm soon. Anyways, I'll be showing you a bit more of the mod pack, such as these handy gizmos, but let's head inside before we touch those. Here's our unroofed shed, which will give me a nice way to demonstrate some things away from harm. First of all, this is a green sapphire sword, and this is a ruby pickaxe. Rubies, sapphires, and green sapphires are part of this mod pack, and they are pretty useful and handy. Stone axes, or really any kind of axes, can be used to cut down entire trees all the way with one hit at the bottom of it. It's really fun to do, but that's a server plugin, unfortunately. I've got myself a green sapphire hoe to be able to manage some of the crops growing here, and a skeleton dropped a bow for me, and I was happy. Apples also came down from a lot of trees I chopped down, and I've got some things from harvesting. Now, this is one thing that I do enjoy having. It's called a canvas bag. It gives me a whole other inventory to load up, and it only fills in one slot. It's pretty handy to have around, and you can dye them different colors to be able to know which is which. So I immediately went to dye mine orange because it looks beautiful. It's a beautiful orange, I have to say. In here I've got quartz crystals. Now I'll actually show these ones off. These are like torches, but you can only find them underground, and I'm pretty sure you can break them with hands. Yeah, and you can also place more over one another to make them even brighter. But the issue with them is that every time you break them, 20% of taint is added to the world in this area, which isn't the best thing you want if you want to avoid wisps. Next up, I have a sickle. I like sickles. Moving on, I have a green sapphire handsaw. Now, the green sapphire handsaw does. I'll get a block out for this. I can do this without opening a crafting table. What a green handsaw does is it actually cuts things in half, and then in half again, and then maybe even half, even more. That's how you make pillars. Okay. I'm discovering things too, you know. I don't necessarily understand everything that there is in the mod pack. I'm hoping to understand more as time goes, which probably is not going to be the case, because I'm a bit dumb. No, I'm not dumb, it's just bleh. It is a bit difficult to understand entirely all of the Modpack at first. Unfortunately, one of my favorite things, Equivalent Exchange 2, has been removed from this, or rather it wasn't really in this, but it was in Tekkit, and that's something I'm going to miss dearly with the amount of hacks that it has. Now I find myself not so interested in any Equivalent Exchange free related things, along with Thumbcraft and Miscraft. This is a shard of Minium though. Once I collect 8 shards of Minium, I'll be able to make a Minium stone. With that, I can perform some basic alchemy, which is one way to create obsidian from logs without needing any diamonds. Now, a stack of obsidian can actually be converted entirely into a diamond. 1 stack equals 1 diamond. Oh. Well, there's going to be a lot of stacks soon. Now, first we'll get this out of my way. This here is well, these all are barrels. And what barrels do is that they contain 64, or up to 64 slots of 64. So that's 64 stacks it can hold of one item. Here we have 8 stacks and 26 of just some oak wood. And you left click it to take a stack out, right click to put stuff in. Now if you double left click, you can take, okay, you can't take all of it, but if you double right, what am I doing? If you double right click with 2 stacks, you can put it all back in. And when you crouch and left click, you can take 1. Same goes if you want to put 1 in, I think. I haven't really tried it. Whoosh. The server itself is actually called Maidcraft, and I'll give you a brief introduction on the people that are actually on. Here's my actual partner that I'll be doing a lot of the work with. We've actually developed our own faction called We're Solutions. If there is a solution, We're Solution has it. But here we have our actual server host. I'm not sure how much he actually knows and how much of a threat he'll be at this point, but he did manage to learn quite a bit last time on how to actually perform anything. He intends to record with me, but I will be holding off on doing that for the time being to continue my tale of whoosh. Oh dear God. So I'll be taking lots of damage. Forgive me if I do die lots during this series, but at the very least, I'll be able to show off some interesting things. Now, before I do leave off, I think I will show a bit more on what is actually in this mod pack and that I am aiming for. Also, that's my skin. And I have a scarf, it's nice. Now, first, of course, I want to get a macerator and a generator for that. Because what a macerator does is that it turns ores into dusts. Those dusts can then be smelted into ingots. So it's like, you don't really need to, but for every ore you get 2 dust. It is doubling your output. You don't even need a generator for it, as long as you got something to produce power, although a generator is probably the easiest thing going at the moment. Also, an interesting thing about this mod pack is this entire system that it comes with. Not enough items. Gives you a search bar, gives you the items, saves, stuff like this. I don't really use any of this, so Wish I could use save, maybe. But keep inventories on the server, so there's not really much of a need. Now, by hovering over any of these and pressing R, it'll give me the recipe. Hovering over any of them and pressing U will give me what they can be crafted into. So, if we look through this, we can find that things can be cut up like I did earlier with the handsaw. And there are... oh. This is the thing that I want. You can't get that without cheating now. This is the thing I have to get, which is a lot less powerful. And I'd like to note, this one can transform animals into different animals. So if I ever found, like, a cow, I could just, like, spam the button for it until it becomes a mushroom and get unlimited food from that. Also, this one has an endurance, so the more I use it, the closer it gets to breaking. This is actually what I want to aim for, also getting compressors and coal chunks so I can produce diamonds. Now this is actually pretty easy. It takes like 1 obsidian and 8 of these, and these are only from being compressed from these coal balls, which are all from coal dust, which is just macerated coal and flint. So that's 8 flint, and that, in the end, I think it's a stack of coal, 8 flint, and just enough obsidian to produce a diamond. So considering how Cool Exchange 2 doesn't have any part of this anymore, and there's no form of condensers or EMC currently in Cool Exchange 3, I'm stuck dealing with that. Now, that's quite the shame, in my opinion, but Equivalent Exchange 2 with the condensers, being able to transform anything into anything else so easily, it really helps him and I get to the end, or end game stuff, pretty much in 2 days. First day, we got nanosuit armor. This stuff. That makes me immune to practically everything. We also had collectors up to produce energy out EMC, not energy, out of thin air. And by the second day, all the collectors and relays had been compiled into a perfect flower to produce energy. And I think it was also tier 3 by the end, which is the final tier, by the end of that day. And by that next morning, there were 30 of them. But at the same time, server did run overnight, so we were able to put certain things down so that it kept on running. So while I'm away... oh, is it not in? No. While I'm away, things won't load, so I need to have something like this around. So I would need this, the world anchor. Itself costs 2 diamonds. Gold is quite valuable, especially with some magic things. And yeah, personal anchors are new, definitely, because emeralds. So probably be looking into that, but like I said, I'm more interested in the machines currently. I've tested a lot of magic before, and now I need to get a lot more into machinery, including thermal expansion, which means pulverizers and the like, which themselves are going to be actually not too hard to make. I've done them before in single player. I can actually probably set that up now, but it's best to wait.